So as you can see, I mean, you can operate the 16C smoothly, much smoother than any AGT, FF, Miva, whatever nonsense trading company slap their name on whatever piece of junk they put into an auction. All due respect, guys. They really are junk. I mean, those machines are sold at the auction at a loss on purpose because they get a kickback from the government. To just every unit they sell, they get a kickback from the government, right? It's just how those machines work. They are built with the lowest quality parts possible. End of story. Just do your research, you'll see it. These are not. These are built by Huayee in their own factory, designed to be a higher end machine. The problem is they still want to sell units. They still want to move metal, right? It's a common thing with this industry. So they have to make some, exceptions or whatever you want to call it. They have to make a cheaper product to make that price point down to the point where, yeah, it's a little more than an auction machine, but it's cheap enough where you'll go on Amazon and go, why not? Click it, buy, let's go. And it gets delivered a week later. In this video, I want to show you that there are problems with the 16C. I almost feel responsible to let you know one of the biggest problems, and it's a serious one. And it's found on a lot of these machines. And it could be a life and death kind of thing. Not to be dramatic, but I'm being serious right now. It's something that all of you should be aware of if you're even thinking about that machine. And I know in this video, I'm going to get some comments. Well, they're coming out with a redesigned 16C. Yeah, they are. And they did some cool stuff, right? They fixed one of the things I hate, which is the flip up controls. They have that on the new one. That's cool. And then they tricked you on one of the other things I'm talking about. And it's the same thing Ripa does. The drive motors are being pushed into the hub of the track, but they are not planetary gear drives. Planetary gear drives, just like the pumps, are very expensive, right? Even for the Chinese, they have to absorb that cost somewhere, right? A planetary drive is a lot more moving parts, and they're a lot more complicated, and they're a lot more money, and they are going to cost the company 3, 4, 5 times more than putting one of these BR pumps. I forgot, a gear motor, I believe they're called. Yeah. Gerotor, Gerotor, I believe, is the type of drive motor that's in all of these machines for the most part that don't have a true planetary 2-speed drive, right? You can tell right away. Go to a Ripa machine or look at the new 16C. You're gonna see 3 lines on the 16C. 2 are your drive lines and one's a K-strain, right? That's great. They added a K-strain, awesome. It's not a 2-speed planetary. It just looks like one. Trust me, it's not. Rip it open, you'll see it. Same with the Ripa. The Ripa only has 2 lines going in, and then they use a switch in the pump to raise the speed of the pump to make it a fake 2-speed, right? These are not planetary drives. Just be aware of that, right? It's marketing at the end of the day. So I'm gonna take the skid steer out right now, throw the grapple off, put that rake on here, and just smooth all this out. And then I want to really get into the 16C. And the 18C, they're basically pretty similar machines. One just weighs a little bit more. Same motor, same gear pump, same drive, same everything basically. It's just a slightly heavier version of the 16C. And these things are selling like crazy. That first video had 52,000 views within 3 weeks. It's number 4 on Amazon right now. I mean, that excavator, this one, is a good machine. Don't get me wrong in this video. Do not misconstrue what I'm saying. It is light years ahead of the auction stuff. But it has some serious faults, and I mean like life-threatening faults that I have discovered after doing a couple jobs for customers in the area. One in particular, I hope you hang out. It's going to be middle or end of this video. It's a big one, and you got to be aware of it. I feel responsible to tell you about this issue. All right, so let me go get the skid steer, smooth this out, and I'll be right back. So I know you guys are here for the HY16C problems, but I had to throw this clip in.
This is the LHY360, and I was moving an entire chip truck full of chips, and it took me no time at all. With that counterweight I did, man, this thing's a little bulldog. I have been thoroughly impressed with this thing. It's been just a beast of a little machine. But anyway, had to do it. All right, let's get to the HY.
All right, so as you can see from the intro, this is a great machine. I still stick behind that. I still really love the machine, but there are some major downsides. Are you still light years ahead of an auction piece of equipment? Absolutely. You're much closer to a brand name machine with this than you are on any of them. And for all the guys saying, "Oh, well, I bought a AGT for $4,000 at the auction," yeah, it's listen, if you're only using the machine 1 or 2 times a year as a homeowner, absolutely go buy one of those. I get it. It is cheaper, but you are just more than likely not going to have any issues with these things. And if you're a commercial user, this should be your only option, unless you go to a 3 times the price name brand, right? So the big question though is, after 15 hours of use on this thing, commercial use, I've done a little bit around property, but mostly it's been off-site at jobs. Yeah, there's some big issues. One of which is enough where I'm going to get rid of the machine. I'm just going to say that right now. It's a safety issue for me, and it's something I think, as I said in the intro, all you should really know about it. And it's not something that was negligent on behalf of Huayee, right? This issue that you're going to hear about is on a lot of these machines. It's a cost-saving thing, all right? So just keep that in mind. I would still recommend this machine, especially for basically anybody, flat ground, lower use, stuff like that. But I'm going to move up to the SHY units, and I'll explain why in a minute in this video, why I'm going that route. There's some major reasons though that it's important for me. So let's talk about the first thing, and in this video I'm gonna go from kind of least to worst. All right, and I hope you stick around for the whole video, because the stuff at the end is really important. I mean, honestly, could kill you. I'm not being dramatic, I'm being serious. So all right, let's get into it. All right, so the first issue I have that really is annoying to me is they put about 10 pounds of you-know-what into a 5-pound bag here. So that's definitely an issue. When I went in here to switch, I know I'm going to get some hate for this, but I grew up using backhoes, dozers, farm equipment, tractors. So I'm used to SAE controls, right? The John Deere backhoe controls. So when I went in to switch these hoses, it was a nightmare. I mean, it is so tightly packed in here, because you have the solenoid, the boom, the side swing cylinders in there, all the lines, your whole main valve block is right underneath here, like on most mini excavators, but it is just so tightly packed in there. There's just no room to work. I can't stand it. So on top of that, I do love how heavy duty all these controls are. They're way better than anything you're going to find on an auction piece of equipment. But I do wish they had made a cover and some gaskets in between each one of these, because you don't want debris. I already have debris in there from doing jobs, and it's just not great. So that's issue one. Everything in here is really tight to work on. The panels, once you pull them off, it's tight. I mean, to the point where I dread changing a line on this thing. It's going to be a headache, but doable, but a headache. All right, that's issue one. Let's get to issue two. All right, so issue two is panel fitment, right? Yes, this thing is still fit and finish a million times better than any of the auction stuff I've seen, including some of the rebranded stuff. But you see stuff like this, right? If I open this engine cover, I'm already getting scratching and wear and everything just from the engine cover just being there, right? So the fit and finish, look at that. I mean, you can see this piece of trim is coming off, it just bothers me, right? It's I know for a fact on the upgraded SHY units, unfortunately, yes, you got to go through a dealer, I get it, but I know for a fact, I've seen them in person, the panel fitment is just better, right? They've put more time into it. There's a double hinge instead of a single hinge, so this thing's not all sloppy and loose sitting there. There are concessions on this machine to get it to this price point. Another thing I found, hold on, Another thing I found when I was working on this too, what was I doing? I was doing engine oil, and I was also doing the pilot pressure check right here. The pilot solenoid's right inside of there. Actually really easy to get to, but when I was taking this cover off, you can just tell that like the panel fitment didn't really match up well. Everything was kind of, and then this bolt was kind of stripped, and it was a little sloppy. And I know on the higher end SHY units, the yellow ones, the panel fitment is just better, you know. So that's something to think about. All right, this is one of the big ones for me. The last one is even bigger, unfortunately, but this one is big. The pumps that are on here, again, are a cost-saving feature, right? These are the same pumps, even though we have the diesel, and it's a better pump for sure, but it's still basically what you would consider a log splitter pump. They're not flow compensating, they're not piston driven, or load compensating, excuse me. They're just a regular standard flow log splitter pump, right? There's two of them, one's for the main hydraulics, one's for the pilots. It's just not what I want, you know, because I am using this commercially too, and you just can't do more than like 2 movements at once with this machine. It just won't do it. And then the tracking is slow. And again, this is what you get with an $11,000 machine, right? They're not doing anything wrong. I mean, Huayee is doing the right thing with these machines, right? This is an entry-level commercial grade machine is what I would call it. But it could be much better with a load sensing piston pump, just plain and simple. The SHY units, I think all of them, except for the little gas machine, do have a load sensing piston pump, and it just makes all the difference in the world. I mean, it's a night and day difference in terms of the smoothness of the machine, the speed when you want it, power when you want it. You know, it just knows what you're trying to get out of it, and it just gives it to you. It's amazing, honestly. I mean, for me, that is a huge deal on this machine. Now, don't get me wrong. With this engine and with the setup it has, the log splitter pumps are still pretty darn doable. You saw it when I was grading that stone over there. You can still be pretty smooth with it, but there are certain things that aren't smooth, like the dozer blade, for instance. It has short hoses, and it's a short, big piston, so the little tiny touch on that thing, it just shoots right down, right? It's hard to be smooth with the dozer. It just is. And everything else, though, you can manage, but I'd rather have a load sensing pump all day long. Every other machine I've ever used my whole life, every excavator's had them, and I've never had an issue. They're super reliable, and I know for a fact Huayee uses a really good quality. I forgot the brand name, but it's one of the biggest brands over there, and they actually produce all the pumps for all the big brands that you guys are thinking about, Bobcat and all them. I mean, so the SHY version of this machine, which would be the SHY12, is the one I'm looking at. But I might step up to the 15. We'll see. But that's the third big deal for me right there is the pump. It's not doing it for me. All right, let's get to the fourth, fifth? I don't know, fourth or fifth, and this one's a doozy. All right, now we're here. This is the deal breaker for me. The drive motors. Again, this is a cost-saving feature. All right, I'll just cut right to the chase. Even though these are good motors, these are not like the junk on the AGT machines, the BMER 60, 350, I don't know. The ones that always blow drive seals and all that, yeah, that's not what this is. These are good motors. These will last a long time. These are specific built for this kind of equipment. You're not going to have reliability issues. The problem is these still will freewheel. These are called a gear roller, GEROLER, I believe, is the type of motor, and there's a BM6 is the type of motor this is. Excellent motor. Don't get me wrong. Like, good quality. The drive seals aren't going to blow out at you at 10 hours. Like, so that's the good news, right? The good news is if you have a machine or a Huayee, like one of the red ones that has this motor, it's not a bad motor. What I would say is it's an unsafe motor. I was on a job, and I'll try to post a shot of it right here. But I was on a job where I was doing some grading and moving some material, and I had to go down a very short but fairly steep hill, and it freewheeled on me. And boy, did that wake me up. It's the first time. I mean, I've always either owned or rented bigger excavators that had planetary drives, right? And I've never had one freewheel because they just don't freewheel from my experience at least. Well, this thing freewheeled, and holy crow, now I can see why people have had like near-death experiences doing that. I mean, it was a short hill, and then it was flat at the bottom, but I can tell you right now, by the time I even knew what was going on, the machine had picked up so much speed, there was no way to even react. And I'm not being dramatic. I've been running machinery for 20-something years. I was going down full stick forward. First problem, if you're on one of these machines, I would try to limit how much you open those valves. All right, my understanding is if you go full open on your drive motors, that's what will introduce a freewheel. But it was such a short hill and it wasn't that steep. I was like, I'm good to go, get this down here and let's get this job done. No, it's 3,000 pounds and it just went. I mean, it started rolling like a car in neutral down a steep hill. It was fast. I mean, so if you're in an area that's hilly at all, I can't in good faith not have that out there to the public. It's a safety issue. I don't even want to bring this machine up to our place in upstate New York. I mean, I wouldn't even be able to get up and down the hill without possibly, calling it a day forever, Yeah, these types of motors, in general, I don't want to own one. The SHY units, the yellow ones, the dealer only ones, have planetary drives, just like a Kubota, Bobcat, you name it. So, for me, that's a big deal. And it's a real safety concern for all of you. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, this is a good machine, and I do stand by that. I mean, it is well built. Everything I said in that original video for this machine stands true. It is a well-built machine. I mean, light years ahead. It is worth every penny of $11,000 or whatever they're selling them for right now. Every penny. No doubt. It's worth every penny. But it's got major drawbacks for certain people. People that are working commercially, people that are working in hilly terrain. The other problem with these motors, I'll tell you right now, they're weak. They're not, it'll move the machine up a hill, no problem. But you are not dozing any sort of real material. I mean, if I were to push this little hill right here, this little mound of dirt behind me, there's not really any hills in frame here, but a little pile of dirt, they'll just stop pushing or they'll just spin. So the two things of being able to freewheel and then just really being low power. Not so low power that it's annoying, right? Like it'll track anywhere you go, right? It'll go up any hills you want. It'll track just fine. Don't take what I'm saying wrong. But in terms of like backfilling a ditch or pushing a mound, the planetary drives are way stronger. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Is what it is. This machine in the upgraded yellow SHY version is, I don't even know. I think it's like 14, 15 grand. So it's another like $4,000, but you have to think like that pump alone, when they put that load sensing piston pump, that's like another $3,000 just in cost at the factory. Those pumps are not cheap. Compared to these pumps are like, a couple $100 for the factory to buy them. So you think about the parts that are in that. The SHY also has expanding tracks, right? Another big thing for me that I definitely want on the next machine. I do a lot of like ditching, so I'll go up and down a road and I want to keep my tracks parallel to the road and I want to ditch off the side. So having expanding tracks, which widens out your base, is a game changer. So I guess we'll call that number 5 or 6. I don't know where we're at now, but that's another big deal for me is the expanding tracks. But the extra cost of the SHY unit just is easy to justify. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to sell this thing. If you're in Pennsylvania, you want it, I'll cut you a good deal. Let me know. All right. Well, there you have it. Those are my reasons, and I'm sticking to them. It's a good machine. I do stand by that. This company, everybody thinks I'm getting paid by them. Trust me, they ain't paying me a dime. I just wanted a good quality machine at a cheaper price. Simple as that. And this thing is a good quality machine. It is so much better than any of the stuff out there at the auctions. I mean, I don't care what stupid name is on it. This thing blows them away by far. But for me, it's not going to work. I have to get rid of it. It's just a safety concern for me at this point. After that freewheel, I wish I had footage of it, but I wasn't recording at the time. You can trust me or not trust me, I don't really care. It did happen, and it will happen. You know, you go down a hill with the sticks full forward, it'll start going like a freight train. Trust me, it's dangerous. And I was gonna go test it for you and get it on video to just show you guys, but it's so sketchy. I don't want to test it. I don't know if you can stop it once it starts happening. I don't want to know. I don't even want to know. I don't want to go test it and possibly hurt myself. So, yeah, you're gonna have to just take my word for it, or go take it on a ride down a hill yourself. You know, and you'll see for yourself. But I felt the need to make the video. Again, I'm not, you know, I'm not a dealer. I don't, the dealers don't pay me anything. The distributor doesn't pay me anything. If you want to try to, you know, say that you know, Hawaii or anything, they're not paying me anything. I am telling you, this is the best machine you can buy, 100%, but the yellow ones are 100 times better. Expanding tracks, load compensating pump, planetary drives, better body panels, just better all the way around. It's just a better machine. And for this exact model, I believe it's the SHY12. I think it's about $3,000 more. Yeah, but compared to like a Bobcat, you're still half the price, if not more. Actually, I think a Bobcat E10, which would be kind of similar, is like 29,000 or something like that. So you're still less than half the price for a commercial grade, very high quality excavator. And that's the one I'm going with. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. I got some more stuff coming out soon. I got a really fun video I'm working on soon, actually. For these winter months, I'm going to try to tackle something around here that I've wanted to do for a while, and for some other jobs I've been getting. So stay tuned for that. If you've been watching this whole time, I appreciate you. Throw the comments in, do the likes, all that stuff. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.